Ever spent like hours just wrestling with some complex SQL query?
Oh, yeah.
Feeling like you're totally lost in this maze of like syntax and stuff?
I've been there.
You're not alone.
Yeah, definitely not alone.
What if there was a way to build these queries, like step by step, with clear explanations along the way?
That's exactly what this research paper, Rationalization Models for Text-to-SQL, is all about. It proposes a method that could fundamentally change how we approach SQL, especially those tricky, complicated queries.
So why should our listeners care about this?
It has the potential to save anyone working with databases
Right.
a ton of time and frustration.
Yeah.
Imagine a world where building SQL queries is less about deciphering cryptic code and more about following a clear logical path.
So instead of just like banging our heads against the keyboard, we'd have like a roadmap to guide us through it.
Exactly.
I'm intrigued.
Yeah.
But let's take a step back first.
Sure.
What's the main hurdle this research is trying to overcome?
I think the biggest challenge is that building complex SQL queries can feel like speaking a foreign language.
Oh, yeah.
Especially for those who aren't like fluent in SQL's intricacies.
It's like trying to navigate a city without a map.
Yeah.
You might eventually reach your destination.
Right.
But it'll involve a lot of wrong turns and dead ends.
Exactly. To make matters worse, current text-to-SQL systems often work like magic boxes.
Oh, like a black box.
Yeah. They spit out a query, but you have no idea how they got there.
Okay.
This lack of transparency makes it tough to debug or modify the query if needed.
So you're left with a solution that works, but you don't really understand why. That's not ideal if you need to make adjustments or explain your logic to someone else.
Precisely. That's where the researchers introduced this idea of COAT rationales for text-to-SQL.
COAT rationales. Can you break that down for us a little?
Sure. COAT stands for chain of thought. Essentially, these rationales are a series of intermediate SQL statements and explanations that break down the query construction process into smaller, more digestible steps.
So instead of one giant leap, it's more like a guided tour with clear directions at each step.
That's a great way to put it.
Okay.
It mirrors how humans naturally solve problems.
Okay.
Think about planning a trip. You don't just teleport to your destination, do you?
Oh.
You map out the route, considering each leg of the journey and why it's necessary.
Makes sense.
Yeah.
But how do you actually teach a machine to think this way?
Right.
To create those rationales?
That's where things get really innovative.
Okay.
The researchers used a method called dynamic few-shot knowledge distillation to train a model capable of generating these COAT steps.
Right.
They started by feeding the model a few manually annotated examples, showing it what a well-structured rationale looks like.
So it's like giving the model a cheat sheet, a few examples to learn from.
Exactly. Yeah. Then they used a large language model to draft initial SQL steps.
Okay.
These drafts are further refined using Markdown, which helps organize the output and make it easier to visualize.
So by using Markdown, they're essentially making the model's thought process visible and understandable.
Precisely. And to see how well this approach works, they put it to the test using a dataset specifically designed for evaluating text-to-SQL systems.
What were the results? Did the model with those COAT rationales actually perform better?
The results were impressive by incorporating these rationales. They saw a significant boost in accuracy, especially when dealing with moderately and highly complex queries, the kind that would typically give anyone a headache.
Wait, hold on. How much of an improvement are we talking about here? Because a small bump in accuracy might not be a game changer.
We're talking about a 4.86% accuracy improvement.
Bro!
On those tough queries. That's substantial, especially when you consider that even a small error in a complex query can have significant consequences.
Okay, that's a pretty compelling number.
Yeah.
So for our listener, what are the key takeaways from this approach? Why should they be excited about COAT rationales?
Well, first and foremost, it significantly improves the accuracy of SQL query generation.
Right.
Especially for those head-scratching complex scenarios.
Yeah.
And just as importantly, it brings a much-needed layer of transparency.
Okay.
You're not just handed a solution. You can actually see the logic behind it.
So you're not just blindly trusting the system.
Right.
You can understand its reasoning and potentially catch errors or areas for improvement along the way.
Precisely. And that brings up some fascinating implications that extend far beyond just SQL.
This idea of transparency in AI is really intriguing.
It is.
What's fascinating is that it could have this ripple effect going beyond just improving the accuracy of tasks.
Right.
It could change how these systems learn and evolve.
Exactly. Imagine a language model that not only solves a problem, but can also break down its own thought process, explaining how it arrived at the solution.
It's almost like having a window into the AI's mind, seeing the gears turning. Would this be a step towards building more trustworthy AI?
Absolutely. The more we understand how AI arrives at its conclusions, the more we can trust those conclusions and feel comfortable using these systems in critical applications.
Right.
And this idea of knowledge distillation, the method they use to train the model, has implications beyond just these massive language models. It could be used to enhance the reasoning capabilities of smaller, more efficient models as well.
So instead of needing a supercomputer to run these complex models, we could potentially achieve similar results with something much more accessible.
Exactly.
That could open up some incredible possibilities.
It's like taking the wisdom of a seasoned expert.
Oh, I like that.
And distilling it into a format that a novice can understand and learn from. This could make advanced AI capabilities available to a much wider range of users and applications.
I love that analogy. It really paints a picture of how powerful this technique could be. But let's bring it back down to earth for a moment. How would this actually play out for someone working with databases every day?
Imagine a database interface that doesn't require you to be a SQL guru. Instead of battling with syntax, you have a system that walks you through building a query step by step, offering clear explanations at each stage.
It would be like having a personal SQL tutor built right into the interface.
Exactly.
Especially for beginners, that could be a huge time saver. And reduce the fear factor that often comes with learning SQL. But I imagine even seasoned SQL users could benefit from this approach.
Absolutely. Being able to quickly understand the logic behind a complex query. And identify potential errors or areas for optimization would streamline the entire workflow for anyone.
So less time spent debugging and more time spent extracting insights from data.
Exactly.
That's a win-win for sure. And it makes me think about the educational potential as well. By making the reasoning behind those queries transparent, it can help people learn SQL more effectively.
It's like learning a new language by not only memorizing phrases, but actually understanding the grammar and structure behind them. This approach demystifies the process and empowers users to build their own queries with confidence.
This is incredible stuff. We've gone from SQL queries to trustworthy AI to revolutionizing education.
It's pretty amazing.
But what stands out to you as the most exciting aspect of this research? What really grabbed your attention?
For me, it's the sheer versatility of this approach. We've touched on its impact on SQL. But the potential extends far beyond that. Consider fields like healthcare, where clear explanations are absolutely crucial.
You're thinking about those black box AI diagnoses that we hear so much about.
Exactly.
Where the system spits out a result but doesn't explain how it got there.
With this approach, imagine a system that not only provides a diagnosis, but also lays out the reasoning behind it step by step. Doctors could understand how the system arrived at its conclusion, verify the results, and ultimately feel more confident in using the AI's insights.
That would be a game changer for patient care.
For sure.
It could lead to more accurate diagnoses, personalized treatment plans, and a stronger partnership between doctors and AI.
Exactly.
It could also revolutionize medical research. Instead of just analyzing data and generating hypotheses, AI could provide the rationale behind its findings, potentially accelerating scientific discovery.
Absolutely. And think about the impact on education. Imagine an AI-powered tutoring system. That not only provides answers, but also breaks down complex concepts into digestible steps, adapting to the individual student's learning style and pace.
Personalized learning taken to a whole new level. Instead of just getting the right answer, students would understand the why behind it, making the learning process so much more engaging and effective.
Exactly.
It seems like this approach has the potential to transform how we educate future generations.
It really does. The possibilities are truly mind-boggling. From finance to law. Any field that relies on complex decision-making
Yeah.
could benefit from AI systems that are not only intelligent,
Right.
but also understandable.
Okay.
This is about empowering humans with AI,
Yeah.
not replacing them.
It's about creating a collaboration
Exactly.
where humans and AI work together,
Mm-hmm.
leveraging each other's strengths to reach better solutions.
Right.
But I imagine even with all this potential,
Yeah.
there are bound to be challenges in applying this chain of thought approach more broadly.
Of course. While research focused on SQL, adapting this to other complex tasks,
Well,
especially those involving a high degree of creativity or subjective judgment, will present some interesting hurdles.
for example, how would you break down the process of composing a piece of music or writing a novel into those discrete logical steps?
Yeah.
It's hard to imagine capturing that creative spark in an algorithm.
That's a great point.
Yeah.
There's a certain magic to creativity that's hard to define,
Yeah.
let alone replicate. But even if we can't perfectly capture those subjective processes, there's still immense value in striving for AI systems
Right.
that can, at the very least, partially explain their reasoning.
I completely agree. Imagine a world where AI tools not only assist us with creative tasks, but also offer insights into their own creative processes.
No, it's
It could be like having an AI muse collaborating with you,
Oh, wow.
sparking new ideas and pushing the boundaries of what's possible.
That would be incredible. It's like having a glimpse into a different way of thinking.
A new perspective that could enhance our own understanding and abilities.
Exactly.
And speaking of different perspectives, we've talked about AI's impact on SQL, healthcare education, even creative fields.
Right.
But where else could this chain of thought approach make waves?
The potential applications are vast. Think about fields like finance, where AI is increasingly used to make investment decisions. With this approach, analysts wouldn't just see a recommended portfolio.
Right.
They'd see the logic behind each selection, each step the AI took to arrive at that decision.
So instead of blindly trusting the algorithm, they could understand its reasoning and potentially make more informed choices.
Yeah, that could really change the game in a field where trust and transparency are paramount.
This idea extends to other areas where AI is being used to make high-stakes decisions.
Definitely.
Think about self-driving cars. If the car can explain why it's making certain maneuvers, it builds trust with the passengers and also provides valuable data for engineers to further improve the system.
It's all about creating that feedback loop where the AI's explanations enhance our understanding.
Right.
And our understanding, in turn, helps refine the AI's decision-making.
It's a powerful concept.
It is.
And this brings us to the end of our deep dive into COTI rationales for text-to-SQL.
It's been a fascinating exploration. We've covered a lot of ground, from the technical details to the far-reaching implications.
And before we sign off, I want to leave our listeners with one final thought to ponder.
Okay.
If we can teach machines to think step by step, to explain their reasoning, what does that tell us about our own thinking processes? Could this research inspire us to be more deliberate, more transparent in our own decision-making?
Yeah.
Perhaps that's the most profound takeaway of all.
That's a brilliant point. The quest to understand artificial intelligence might just lead us to a deeper understanding of ourselves.
And on that note, we encourage you to explore this fascinating topic further. You can find the full research paper, Rationalization Models for Text-to-SQL, online. Happy reading, and until next time, keep diving deep.